The stars shone brightly in the black sky as the small escape pod drifted through space. Inside, two young alien brothers, Lyre and Caden, clung to each other. Their home planet was gone. It was destroyed by raiders who showed no mercy. Their parents were lost in the chaos, and now the brothers were alone. Fear filled their hearts, but they knew they had to survive. Lyre, the older brother, looked out the small window. His pale blue skin shimmered faintly in the dim light. His eyes, wide and bright, searched the stars for hope. Caden, younger and smaller, hid behind his brother. His hands shook as he tried to hold back tears. They did not know where the pod would take them, but they hoped to find safety. Days passed slowly in the quiet pod. They had little food and water. The machine kept them alive, but it could not protect them forever. Suddenly, alarms blared. The pod was falling fast toward a planet below. Lyre tried to steer, but the controls were strange and hard to use. The pod crashed through the thick clouds and landed roughly on the ground. Everything shook and rattled. Then all went silent. The brothers lay still for a moment. Slowly, Lyre opened his eyes. Outside, tall green trees surrounded them. The air smelled fresh and new. This was a strange world, different from their home. Caden was scared, but Lyre held his hand tightly. "We are safe now," Lyre said softly. "We will find a way." They stepped out of the pod carefully. Their feet touched soft, green grass. The sun shone warmly down on them. But the brothers knew they could not stay long. Someone might find them. They had to be careful. Nearby, a man watched from behind a tree. His name was Jack Harper. He was a human who lived alone on a large farm. Jack was tough and quiet. He did not like strangers, especially strange creatures. But he was curious about the two brothers. He saw how small and weak they looked. Maybe they needed help. Jack moved closer, but kept his distance. Lyre and Caden noticed him and froze. Their eyes showed fear, but also hope. Jack called out, "Hey, what are you doing here?" His voice was firm but not unkind. The brothers did not answer. They only looked at each other. Jack thought for a moment. He did not know much about aliens, but he knew these boys were different. He had no family to care for, and his life was hard. Still, something inside him told him to protect these lost brothers. He stepped forward and said, "Come with me. It's not safe out here alone." Lyre and Caden looked at each other again. Then slowly they nodded. They followed the man into the trees, leaving behind the broken pod. This was the start of a new life, full of challenges and surprises. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Jack led the brothers through the thick trees toward his home. The farm was not far, but it looked strange to Lyre and Caden. Tall wooden fences, animals in pens, and a small house stood in the clearing. The brothers had never seen anything like it before. Jack opened the door and stepped inside. The house was small but warm. There was a fireplace, a wooden table, and chairs. Jack pointed to a corner with old blankets. "You can rest here," he said. The brothers nodded, still unsure but tired. Lyre tried to speak the few words he had learned from the pod's computer. "Thank you," he said quietly. Jack grunted, not used to kindness. He was a harsh man with little patience for weakness. Days passed slowly. Jack gave the brothers food and water, but he did not smile. He was strict and kept his distance. The brothers missed their parents and the stars they once knew. They tried to learn Jack's language but found it hard. Jack watched them carefully. He was not sure if he could trust them. To him, aliens were strange and dangerous. Still, he felt a strange bond with the boys. Maybe because he was lonely too. One morning, Jack woke to loud noises outside. The brothers were playing near the animals. Suddenly, a wild dog appeared, growling and baring its teeth. Caden froze in fear. Lyre moved quickly and stepped in front of his brother. Jack heard the commotion and rushed out with a heavy stick. He shouted, "Go away!" The dog barked but ran when it saw Jack. The brothers looked at Jack with wide eyes. Jack said, "You have to be careful here. This place is not safe for kids." His voice was rough, but the brothers felt relief. They realized Jack cared, even if he did not show it often. That night, Lyre spoke softly, "Why are you so hard on us?" Jack looked away thinking, "Because the world is hard. You need to be strong to live," he said simply. The brothers understood. Jack wanted to teach them to survive. Even if his way was rough, it came from a place of care. Days turned into weeks. The brothers learned to do small chores. They fed the animals, fixed fences, and cleaned the house. Jack watched closely, correcting mistakes with a sharp tone. But slowly, the brothers grew stronger and more confident. One evening, as the sun set, Jack sat near the fire. Lyre and Caden sat close, listening to stories about the land. Jack's voice was low, but the warmth in the room felt like a new kind of family. Though Jack was harsh, the brothers began to trust him. They started to feel they were not alone anymore. The days grew warmer as spring came to the farm. Lyre and Caden woke early to help Jack. The work was hard. They pulled weeds, fed chickens, and carried buckets of water. Jack watched them closely. He was not easy on them. If they made mistakes, he told them firmly to try again. The brothers did their best. Sometimes they got tired and wanted to rest. But Jack said, "If you want to live here, you must work hard." His voice was strong but not cruel. He wanted them to be ready for the world outside. One afternoon, a neighbor came to visit. Her name was Mary. She was kind and smiled often. She looked at Lyre and Caden with surprise. "Are they your sons, Jack?" she asked gently. Jack nodded. "Yes, they are. Found them lost and alone." Mary smiled warmly at the brothers. She spoke slowly so they could understand. "They are very special boys." Lyre felt shy but happy. Mary's kindness was new to him. Caden smiled and waved. Jack seemed proud but said nothing. That night, Jack sat by the fire and looked at the stars. The sky was clear, and the brothers watched too. Lyre asked, "Do you miss your family, Jack?" Jack was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I lost my wife a long time ago. It was hard. I never thought I'd care for anyone again." Caden looked at Jack with big eyes. "We are your family now," he said softly. Jack smiled for the first time. It was small, but real. The next day, a loud sound shook the farm. The brothers ran outside. A big truck came down the dirt road. Jack frowned. The driver was a man with sharp eyes. Jack knew him. He was a space trader who visited the town sometimes. The trader looked at Lyre and Caden. "Are those aliens?" he asked with surprise. Jack stood tall. "Yes, they belong here now." The trader laughed. "You can't keep them hidden. People will come looking." Jack's face hardened. "Then they will find a fight." The brothers felt scared but also safe. Jack was their protector. Days later, Jack took Lyre and Caden out to the fields. He showed them how to use tools and defend themselves. "If trouble comes, you must be ready," he said. The brothers listened carefully. They wanted to be strong like Jack. Though life was still hard, the bond between them grew. Jack's harsh lessons were their shield. And slowly, the brothers learned what it meant to be part of a family, no matter how different they were. ********. The farm was quiet in the early morning. Lyre and Caden walked carefully through the tall grass. They wanted to learn more about Earth. Jack had given them some simple tools and showed them how to use them. Today they would help fix a broken Fence. The fence was old and weak. Jack had told them it was important to keep animals safe. Liar picked up a hammer and nails. Caden held the wooden planks. They worked slowly, trying not to make mistakes. Jack watched from a distance. He did not say much, but his eyes were sharp. If they made a mistake, he would call them back and show them again. The brothers did not mind. They wanted to learn and to make Jack proud. Suddenly, a loud noise came from the barn. A frightened horse kicked the door. Caden jumped back. Liar ran to calm the animal. He spoke softly, using the gentle tone Jack had told him to use. Slowly, the horse stopped struggling. Jack came running. Good job, Liar. You kept calm. That's what matters, he said. Caden smiled at his brother. He felt proud too. The brothers were learning more than just work. They were learning to be brave. That night, the three sat near the fire. The flames danced in the dark. Jack shared stories about the land and the stars. He told them about Earth's storms and seasons. The brothers listened with wide eyes. They missed their old home but felt a new hope. Suddenly, strange sounds came from the forest. Jack stood up quickly and grabbed his old rifle. Stay here, he said firmly. Liar and Caden watched as Jack moved toward the noise. The night was quiet, except for the soft footsteps in the leaves. After a moment, Jack returned with a small wounded animal. It's hurt. We can't leave it like this, Jack said, surprising the brothers. Liar nodded and helped Jack clean the wound. Caden brought some water. Together, they cared for the animal through the night. Jack looked at them and said, You're not just workers. You have good hearts. The brothers smiled. They were no longer just strangers on the farm. They were part of something new. Days later, Jack took the brothers to the town market. It was busy and loud. People stared at Liar and Caden. Some whispered about aliens, but most ignored them. Jack held their hands tightly and walked with confidence. In the market, the brothers saw many strange things. Bright lights, machines, and foods they had never tasted. They felt small but excited. Jack bought them new clothes and books. Learn the language, he said. It will help you live here. Liar and Caden studied hard. They wanted to understand the world better. Jack's harshness was still there, but now it felt like a guide, not a wall. Together they faced the challenges of Earth. Slowly, they grew closer as a family. Asterisk. One morning, dark clouds covered the sky. Jack looked up and said, A storm is coming. We need to get ready. The brothers hurried to help. They gathered the animals into the barn and tied loose things on the farm. Liar and Caden worked hard. They wanted to prove they could be useful. The wind started to blow stronger. The trees bent and leaves flew through the air. Jack watched them closely, his face serious but proud. As the storm grew worse, the rain poured down like rivers. Thunder boomed and lightning lit the sky. The barn shook in the wind. The brothers held on tight to the gate. They were scared but brave. Suddenly, a loud crack. A big tree near the fence broke and fell. It hit the fence hard, breaking the wood. The animals inside were frightened. Caden ran to help calm them. Liar went to check the damage. Jack saw the broken fence and rushed outside. We need to fix this fast or the animals will escape, he said. The brothers nodded and followed him. Even with the heavy rain, they worked together. Jack held the tools steady while Liar and Caden hammered new nails. The storm was fierce, but their teamwork was stronger. They didn't stop until the fence was safe again. When the storm passed, the sky cleared and the sun came out. Jack looked at the brothers and smiled for the first time in a long while. You did good, he said quietly. Liar and Caden felt warm inside. They had helped save the farm. They looked at Jack and saw a different side of him. The harsh man had a heart that cared deeply. After the storm, Jack took the brothers to the river. They washed off the mud and dirt. The water was cold but refreshing. They laughed as the sun warmed their skin. For a moment, all their worries seemed far away. That night, around the fire, Jack told stories of storms he had faced when he was young. The brothers listened closely. They saw Jack not just as a strict teacher, but as someone who had fought hard to live. Lyre asked, "Why do you protect us so much?" Jack looked at the fire and said, "Because no one should be alone in a storm." The brothers understood. They were not just strangers to Jack. They were family. In the days after, the farm felt different. The animals were calm, the fences strong, and the brothers more confident. Jack's voice was still firm, but it held respect. Lyre and Caden learned that life on Earth was hard, but with Jack, they could face anything. Together, they were stronger. One morning, Lyre and Caden helped Jack fix the tractor. The machine was old and noisy, but it helped with the farm work. Jack showed them how to use tools carefully. The brothers listened and worked hard. While fixing the tractor, Caden asked, "Jack, why are you so tough on us?" Jack wiped sweat from his forehead. "Because the world is not easy. You have to be strong to survive," he said. "If I don't teach you, you could get hurt," Lyre nodded. He understood Jack's words. Even if Jack seemed harsh, he cared a lot. That day, the brothers tried to fix the engine. Jack gave them small tasks and watched closely. When they made mistakes, he corrected them quickly. Sometimes he raised his voice, but he never gave up on them. After work, Jack took them to the nearby forest. He wanted to teach them how to find food and stay safe. The forest was big and quiet. The brothers felt small among the tall trees. Jack showed them which plants were good to eat and which were dangerous. "Remember, not everything looks safe," he warned. "You must learn to tell the difference." Lyre carefully touched a green leaf. Jack nodded. "Good, you are learning." Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the bushes. Jack stopped and looked sharply. Out jumped a small deer. Caden smiled and pointed. Jack smiled back. "See? The forest is full of life. You have to respect it." The brothers felt happy to learn these new skills. They were not just strangers anymore. They were becoming part of this world. That night, Jack cooked a simple meal. They sat around the fire. Jack shared stories about his youth and the hard times he faced. The brothers listened closely, feeling closer to him. Lyre asked, "Did you ever feel lonely, Jack?" Jack looked into the flames. "Yes, losing my wife left a big hole in my heart. I didn't think I could love again." Caden said softly, We'll be your family now." Jack smiled, a real one this time. "I'm glad." The next day, Jack gave the brothers some new clothes. They were rough but strong, perfect for farm work. Lyre and Caden changed and felt proud. Jack's tough lessons continued. He pushed them to do their best but also praised when they succeeded. The brothers grew stronger, not just in body but in spirit. They began to understand that Jack's harshness was his way of showing care. He wanted them to be ready for anything. One evening, as the sun set, the brothers stood next to Jack. They looked at the stars and felt hope. Together, they were a family, ready to face the future. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. One quiet evening, as the sun went down, Jack sat outside the house. Lyre and Caden were nearby, playing with a small wooden toy. Suddenly, a strange sound came from the edge of the forest. Jack's eyes grew sharp. He stood up quickly and looked. Toward the noise, Lyre and Caden froze. They did not know what to expect. Jack told them to stay close and be silent. From the dark trees, two figures appeared. They looked strong and fierce. Jack's face hardened. He recognized them. They were the same raiders who had destroyed the brothers' home. The raiders smiled. "Truly, we have come to take the boys back," one said. His voice was cold and harsh. Jack stepped forward. "They are under my protection now," he said firmly. "If you want them, you will have to go through me." The raiders laughed. "You are just one man. This will be easy." Jack did not back down. He reached for his rifle and took a strong position. Lyre and Caden watched, their hearts beating fast. They had never seen Jack like this before. The raiders moved closer. Suddenly, the brothers felt a strange power inside them. Lyre's hands glowed faintly with blue light. Caden's eyes shone bright. The brothers stood beside Jack, ready to fight. The raiders were surprised. They had never seen such power from humans or aliens. Jack and the brothers worked as one. Jack's strong aim and quick moves, with the brothers' strange powers, made the raiders hesitate. One raider tried to attack Caden, but Lyre stepped in and blocked him. Caden used his power to push the attacker back. The fight was fierce but short. The raiders realized they could not win. They ran back into the forest, shouting threats. Jack watched them disappear, then turned to the brothers. "You are stronger than I thought," he said quietly. Lyre and Caden looked at each other, proud but tired. They had never fought like this before. Jack put his hands on their shoulders. "We will keep you safe," he promised. That night, the brothers could not sleep. Their minds were full of questions. "Why did they come here?" Caden asked. Jack looked at the stars. "Because you are special, and some will want to use you. But I will protect you, no matter what." Lyre nodded. He trusted Jack more than ever. They were not alone anymore. They had a family to fight for. The next day, Jack began to train the brothers. He taught them to control their powers and defend themselves. The brothers listened carefully, ready to learn. Together, they prepared for the challenges ahead. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day. Asterisk, 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 asterisk fight were quiet but tense. Jack watched the brothers closely. He knew the raiders might come back. Lyre and Caden trained hard every day. Jack taught them how to use their powers safely and how to move quietly in the forest. One morning, Jack took them to a hidden place. Near the river, the water was clear and cold. "This is a safe spot," Jack said. "If danger comes, you must know where to hide." The brothers practiced moving through the trees without making noise. They learned to listen to the sounds of the forest, the birds, the wind, even the smallest footsteps. Jack also showed them how to use simple weapons. "Tools can help," he said, "but your minds and hearts are the strongest weapons." Lyre tried to throw a small knife. At first it was hard, but with Jack's help, he got better. Caden watched and tried to copy his brother. The brothers felt stronger every day, but they still missed their parents. Jack understood their pain. He never spoke about his own losses, but the brothers saw his quiet moments when he looked at the stars. One afternoon, the brothers found a small injured bird near the farm. They carefully picked it up and brought it to Jack. Together, they cleaned the bird's wounds and made a soft nest for it. Jack smiled. "You have kind hearts. That is important." The bird slowly healed. It became a small symbol of hope for the brothers. That night, Jack told stories of the stars and the planets. He spoke of Earth's beauty and dangers. The brothers listened, feeling connected to both worlds. Suddenly, a loud noise broke the calm. Jack grabbed his rifle and ran outside. The brothers followed, ready to help. A group of raiders appeared at the edge of the farm. This time, they came with more ships and weapons. Jack stood firm. "This is my home." "You will not take them," he said. Lyre and Caden stood by Jack's side. They felt fear but also courage. Together they faced the raiders. The battle was hard. The brothers used their powers, and Jack fought with all his strength. They worked as one. In the end, the raiders fled again. Jack looked at the brothers with pride. You fought well. We are a family. No one can break us. Lyra and Caden smiled. They knew that as long as they had each other, they could face any challenge. After the battle, the farm felt calm again. Jack, Lyra, and Caden worked together to repair the damage. The fence was broken in places, and some plants were trampled. The brothers learned how to fix the fence better this time. Jack showed them how to hammer nails straight and make the wood strong. Lyra and Caden felt proud. They were becoming better farmers and fighters. Jack's lessons were hard but important. He wanted them to be ready for anything. One evening, Jack took the brothers to a hill near the farm. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange and pink colors. They sat quietly, looking at the world below. Jack spoke softly. You two have come a long way. You are not the scared boys I found. Lyra smiled. Jack, you have taught us much. We are stronger now. Caden nodded. And we trust you. You are our family. Jack looked at them with a gentle smile. I'm proud of you both. Life will still be hard, but together we can face it. The brothers felt a warm feeling inside. They knew Jack's words were true. The next day, a new visitor came to the farm. She was a woman named Sarah. Sarah was a doctor from a nearby town. She heard about the strange brothers and wanted to help. Sarah was kind and gentle. She spoke softly with Lyra and Caden, helping them with their questions about Earth. She gave them medicine for small wounds and taught them about human health. Jack was careful but trusted Sarah. He saw how she made the brothers happy and calm. Afternoon, Lyra and Caden walked with Sarah in the fields. They asked her about their home planet and if there was hope for their people. Sarah said, "The universe is big. Maybe one day you can find your family or help others." The brothers felt hope again. They wanted to learn more and be ready for the future. That night, Jack and the brothers sat by the fire. The stars shone brightly above. They talked about dreams and plans. Lyra said, "Jack, thank you for giving us a home." Jack smiled. "You gave me a family. I'm glad you're here." Caden looked up at the sky. "No matter what comes, we face it together." They felt strong and united. The farm was more than just a place. It was a new beginning. A place where an old man and two alien brothers found love and hope. Together they were ready for whatever the galaxy would bring. The days passed peacefully on the farm. Jack, Lyra, and Caden grew closer each day. They worked, learned, and shared stories. The brothers had found a new home, and Jack had found a family. One morning, Jack took the brothers to the top of a small hill. From there, they could see the farm, the forest, and the wide open sky. Jack looked at them and said, "You have grown strong. But the world beyond this place is big and full of challenges." Lyra nodded. "We are ready, Jack. We will face whatever comes." Caden smiled and held Jack's hand. Together, Jack felt a deep warmth in his heart. He was proud of the boys he had saved and raised. They were no longer scared or lost. They were his family, and he would protect them always. One day, Jack received a message on his radio. It was from the nearby town. The people wanted to welcome the brothers and learn more about them. Jack was surprised but agreed to take them. At the town, Lyra and Caden saw many new faces. People were curious but friendly. They answered questions and shared stories of their journey. The townspeople were amazed by the brothers' bravery and strength. Jack stood by their side, proud and strong. He had come a long way from the harsh man who found two lost boys in the forest. As the sun set, the family returned to the farm. Lyra and Caden looked up at the stars. They remembered their old home and their parents. But now they had a new place to belong. Jack sat beside them and said, "No matter where we go, this is our home. We are a family, bound not by blood, but by heart." The brothers smiled, feeling peace for the first time in a long while. Years passed, and the farm grew. The brothers became skilled and wise. Jack's lessons stayed with them. They faced new challenges, but always together. Lyre and Caden knew that life was not easy, but with Jack's strength and love, they could overcome anything. The orphaned alien brothers had found more than survival. They had found love, family, and hope. And Jack, the harsh man who once seemed cold, had become the heart of their new world. Together, they looked to the stars, ready for whatever adventure awaited them next. ***.